Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lord Hagen, and bid you all welcome back to Gothic 2. So last episode we hooked up with Diego, we also got Bilgot in tow, and our next goal, now that we've got the reports from all the mining sites, is to get back out of here alive. We personally have to report back to Garond before we're finished here, but we have to get Diego out of here, and Bilgot too while we're at it. I showed you the cheap way of getting Bilgot out of here. Unfortunately, it seems that that does not work with Diego. I believe, you know, I actually haven't tested it any time recently, but anytime I tried it in the past, it didn't seem to work. Diego does not make it out. So the most tempting way for you to get Diego out of here would be to go back the way he came. The problem is Diego's interpretation of too close to the castle is very, very broad. Just about anywhere within sight of the castle practically counts as too close. So if we go back the way we came, pretty much anything this side of the river is too close to the castle for him. And of course, trying to cross the river, you get too close to too many orcs.
Hey,
and he does not like
away from the castle.
Being that close to the orc wall either.
We can't continue here. The orc barrier is too dangerous. I think it would be better if we headed west again and walked around to the other side.
And he also does not like going near any unusual landscapes that are indicative of there being dragons.
This swamp is a dead end. I wouldn't be surprised if there's even a dragon lurking inside. Let's not go in there. That's the entrance to the former new camp. I'm sure that a dragon has made himself at home in there. To get to the pass, we'll have to go in the other direction.
So, there's really only one way for us to go. If we try to go through here, past these orcs down here, then that's simply too close to the castle. I used to have... Oh, buzz off.
There's another less monster around.
Thank you, Diego. I used to have an alternative route because I used to struggle greatly trying to get these guys past all the orcs along that path. But I've learned some tricks to get around that. The way I used to take was basically to walk along this ridge here. You would have to take out those orcs first, otherwise they'd be troublesome. But basically walk along this ridge here and eventually get down to the entrance to the swampy area with the bridge and the tower that we were at before. The problem is the safest place to end up is on the ledge where that bridge is, and getting down from there, Diego does not like it. So I used to try and get him to fall off the shortest ledge possible and just hope he would survive. That's more trouble than it's worth these days, so instead we're gonna... Well, first of all, we're just gonna take these guys out. Because we might as well. So ultimately the trick with this is that you basically want Bilgot and Diego to focus on the same orc at the same time. Because if they each get one orc aggroed on them individually, there's a good chance that they will get wrecked and possibly killed. So, if we have to pull multiple orcs, ideally we'll get one of them down ourselves using the ice lance, and then they will both focus on the same one at the same time, and all we have to do is defend ourselves against what's left until they whittle them down one by one. So yeah, once you, I'd say, like, basically cross the path of that tree there, that's when Diego refuses to follow anymore. Anyway, left, right, left, left. Unfortunately, even following the wall there just does not cut it for him. I was going to say it might be possible because what will happen is if you cross the line for one area but then leave it on another side, he will follow you. But I think that's just a bit too far and he might actually zone out. So we're not going to try that. Now, pays to be careful here. There's a lot of wargs and a lot of orcs. And even a single warg can actually be really devastating to Bilgot.
One less monster around.
Well, there's still one more monster around. And it does pay to, if you feel like it's dangerous for Diego or Bilgot to hold the aggro of any enemies we're encountering here, pull out your melee weapon, give them a few good whacks, and try and get aggro back on yourself, because you know how to defend yourself better than these idiots do. So that's the safest way to do it. There's an Orc Shaman there. He's actually one of the more dangerous things to encounter here. Up in this little alcove here, there's some nice treasures to find. Potion, bread, and a Bec du Corban, or Ravenspeak, which is a cool little warhammer. But that's not something we can use. It's weird how many weapons actually have the same 110 damage. I think there's a total of like 4 or 5 weapons. Left, right, right, left, right. There's a total of like 4 or 5 weapons all there, but you might recall from the first game that certain enemies are vulnerable, more vulnerable, to blunt weapons. And that includes golems. Pretty much just golems in that game. I believe I said the same thing when we were fighting the Stone Sentinels earlier in this game. It's difficult to tell exactly how much more susceptible they are to those weapons, just because it's not a visible damage type. So I can't really define what kind of resistance they have to normal weapons versus blunt weapons or whatever. So the trick here is to use this rock. We will get Orcamungi to come at us. But again, as long as they two focus on just one of them, we're probably okay. The shaman has woken up. Bilgot is in deep danger. So as long as we can kind of keep it stun locked, we are A-okay. So, he actually didn't take too many hits there, which is good. Both Diego and Bilgot seem to have a hidden inventory of potions. They won't have it on them, I think, if you possess them or kill them. Actually, Diego does. Okay. Does Bilgot? Bilgot has a few. Okay. For some reason, I always thought those are hidden. I don't think they have them when you kill them. They disappear from their inventory if they die. Suppose we can demonstrate that. I might be wrong. It does seem like most NPCs have a hidden stock of healing potions. No, he does have them. I guess I'm a fucking liar. Because when they are less than half health, they will consume them. So, you notice Diego's not doing it now, but if you don't feel comfortable with him being as wounded as he is, you can give him some potions.
Take the healing potion.
The only problem is Diego does, in fact, have a lot of hit points, so it takes about 10 potions to get him back to full. So again, we got several orcs here. Let's just start blasting right away. Makes him weak enough for Diego to get some one-shots on what's left. Sorry. That was an accident. So again, it's slightly ironic that Diego is too afraid of the castle to take the safe routes, but instead we have to go through a small gauntlet of orcs. Luckily, that's about all we have to worry about here. But they're holding up well enough. There's another group of orcs kind of right over this ridge here. And I think it would be in our best interest to actually take them on just for the XP. So up here, if you have a good memory of the landscape in Gothic 1, you might recall that this is the stone circle, the sacrificial altar, where we met Milton on the search for the focus stones, and he was looking for some random orc talisman that was apparently really important to him. If you try to head up in that direction, Diego gets some bad vibes. We can demonstrate that. I don't think I snagged a recording of that one. But Diego gets some bad vibes, and he doesn't want to spend too much time here.
There's something eerie about this old tomb. Let's rather walk around it.
So he won't be having none of that. Now, I used to think that if you kept trying to go in a direction Diego didn't like, he would ultimately basically tell you to fuck off, and then he wouldn't follow you anymore. But when I tried to test that and demonstrate that, it didn't seem like that was the case. He actually would just start cycling through the same complaints over and over again, never really seemed to give up. But it just gets very annoying when you're trying to find the safest path around. And that's ultimately why I'm showing you what all the other directions really result in. Just because it is pretty much just this one place you can, this one direction you can go.
One less monster around.
That's what you have to deal with. So, the safest way to go would be head that way. Across the lake, you have to go slightly into the frozen area, but not far enough that Diego complains, and then just bang a right. That'll take you to the camp where the bandits were the first time we went through. But same thing with this direction. I wish I had actually waited until daytime to go through here, because it is so dark. I'm going to have to do some brightness editing in post just to make sure that you can see it. But if we head this way, there's just some orcs, because there's always orcs. I don't think there's a shaman amongst them this time, which is fortunate. So let's just start blasting. Oh boy. No big. Oh god, the pain. I realize I am handicapping myself by wearing the fire robe instead of the brain work ring of water armor. Sorry, I'm a bit frazzle-dazzled these days.
Nothing there.
I think that's all the orcs, just them three. Oh, but there's also Warg. Yeah, I don't feel like wasting any more mana potions. We'll just let these fellows deal with it.
One less monster around.
The only trouble with this direction is that there isn't really a way down that doesn't involve a drop, so you gotta make sure that these two idiots are not so dumb as to take a stumble, land on their stomachs, and die from the ridiculously overpowered fall damage. But the safest way to avoid that is just come along here and hop off where it is the shortest drop. This might not actually be the shortest drop. So let them hop on my head for support, just to make sure they stay alive. So now we're in a safe place. I believe when I did a test... Oh. You know what, maybe that boulder would have been the safest place to drop. Oh, we're back at Kevlin's. I got a little confused. Even I'm having a little trouble seeing. Here would have been the safest place to drop. No matter, all the same. What do we got here? A little small lightning, it looks like. So from here, we're pretty much good to go. As long as we got the two of them in tow. Just bear in mind, if they have trouble pathfinding and they run out of sight to where they zone out, you cannot get them back. Bilgot obviously is not a big concern because he'll end up, just by that failsafe I demonstrated in the last episode, he'll end up back where we're going anyway. But otherwise, it's not a big deal. With Diego, I'm just not sure if that failsafe is in place. It never seemed to work for me in the past. But like I said, I have not really tried it recently enough to say that with much confidence. Now, you might recall that there was a bed in a tent over here. I think I mentioned it before, but if you have people following you, you do not want to advance the time of day in any way. Because that sets a flag that happens for all NPCs, even ones that are supposed to be following you, that puts them at the position they're supposed to be. Oh. Why did that do that? It puts them at the position they're supposed to be at that time of day. So the problem is, since they're supposed to be following you, it doesn't really put them there. Because I think their AI script is still telling them to get back to you. So essentially they just disappear because they zone out. Come on, Diego. So standing in our path really isn't a whole lot. There's a couple snappers that we evaded last time. Harder to evade when we got NPCs with us. The most important thing is that you don't go too far to the left, otherwise you'll run into some more orcs. You can deal with them if you like, we've obviously proven our worth. But most troublesome is if you go between these kind of two mounds here. There is a dragon snapper there. And a dragon snapper can quite easily wreck even Diego. So we don't really want to deal with that.
One less monster around.
So let's let him vanquish these lesser snappers. And when we encounter the dragoon snapper, we'll take care of it ourselves, because we got the firepower. Or ice power, I guess.
One less monster around.
There's the sumbitch. Apparently has almost equivalent health / magic defense as an orc warrior. I don't think there's anything much to see up here. Just some plants and some fungi. So we're pretty much in the clear now, which is all well and good. When we get up to the abandoned mine, where we started this escapade back into the valley, as soon as we get anywhere near it, Bilgot will part ways with us. Diego will actually stick with us until we pretty much walk up to the very entrance of it, and that's very important because we don't actually want to do that right away. Because there's a little bonus if you take him a bit further. And I will demonstrate that as we get near. Because it's something I don't think I even knew about. I never even thought to try getting Diego to the old exchange place at any time back in the day. So somebody brought it up when I was live streaming. I can't remember who. I wish I had written it down. And actually, I'm realizing some, there's probably a lot of credit I'm not giving out that I actually fully intended to, because I wrote a lot of notes during the live stream.
Right.
Oh, here we go.
Are. Now hit the road. This area is hot.
Thank you.
Don't get yourself eaten. That'd be a pity.
Farewell.
Farewell. I took a lot of notes on my old phone during the live stream just to make sure I tried to give everybody credit when they educated me on something. Unfortunately, I didn't think to save those notes when I got a new phone. So... And with like something like 60, 70, 80 hours of live stream material that it all covered, I can't really go back and retroactively figure out who said what, give you the credit you deserve, but you will be silently and anonymously respected for your input. So, like I said, very important, don't go near the entrance. We want to go this way, where orcs lay. And luckily, with the firepower we got, isn't too much of a worry to handle these. Trying to do this as a any kind of melee build at this point is way trickier because you're gonna have a hard time dealing any respectable damage. There's always just one that misses. I think there's 2 more orcs to worry about. Yes, there are. Oh boy. Diego. Ow, the pain. Nicely done.
Nothing there.
I feel like one of these mods I downloaded switched up orc inventories, because I don't recall as many of them having empty inventories.
Nothing there.
The interesting thing is that their inventory actually depends on which weapon they're carrying. It seems that the orcs are, like, their weapons are not kind of like randomly selected. There's essentially a different orc creature. Even though they all have identical stats, identical names, the orc warriors are all sort of independent, like, creatures that have the same inventory, sort of the same way like wolves always have, you know, raw meat, teeth, and skin and claws. Orcs always have the same inventory and the same weapon. Or every orc that you see with the same weapon has the same inventory is what I mean. So, it's all like their own generated creature with a static inventory. But there's just 3 types of them. So we get to here.
Remember back then,
Nostalgia bonus.
when we met here for the first time? It's been ages. There was something else in this place. Damn, I just can't remember. Whatever. I shall go the rest of the way by myself. I have a few things to take care of before I can return to Corinus. Thank you, my friend. I'll see you in town.
You know, I bet I know what you forgot here. Your original voice. Actually, what he forgot is right here. A full leather satchel. If we take a look, it's not Cavalorn's. Diego's old leather bag. Even though it's got his fucking name on it, we cannot actually give it back to him now. But, no worries, because I have learned a cheat that I will demonstrate when we get back. Now, the last interesting note with Diego here is that you actually don't have to worry if he dies on the way and you really genuinely cannot get him back. If he were to die, there's a failsafe, since he's an essential NPC in this game, but they just wanted there to be some high stakes for getting him out of here. There is actually a failsafe where he will appear in Corinus in the same place he would for us now if we get him out of here safely. And he does have a different line of dialogue in the event that that happens. Alternatively, you just don't have to bring him back at all. If you just leave him back at his camp, he'll find his way back regardless. I don't recall if he says anything differently versus if you get him out of there alive. Now, old Bilgot just kind of sits around here somewhere. I can't see him right now, actually.
Right, here we are. I shall go the rest of the way by myself. I have a few things to take care of before I can return to Corinus. Thank you, my friend. I'll see you in town.
I couldn't get that to happen previously, but yeah, actually, if you just walk back here with Diego, you get the bonus for dropping him off here as well. So essentially, you get double XP by taking him there first and then just falling back here. But make sure that he walks back here completely on his own and stops. Because if you try to talk to him at any point on the way, he just stops where he's walking and that never triggers. So it looks like Bilgot actually disappeared. Normally he's just sitting around. You can kind of like bitch at him for not getting while the getting's good, as it were. So we've done all that we need to do. Let's represent our authority once more. Most importantly, sleep until daytime so that we can actually see what the hell we're doing. Up and at him. Well, I guess I'll just sleep 6 inches above the floor instead. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned it last time. The entire dungeon that used to be below the castle here is completely gone. They put this debris here like it's supposed to block the entrance, but it's clear that the entrance just isn't there anymore. And we've seen that there's just nothing down there anymore. Now on this subject, no, I had all the notes I was going to talk about. Let me make sure I pull that up. Normally, I have my notes open, and I completely forgot to open them today. Okay, 2 things. Huge shout out to my friend Vanna, who has an uncanny knack for reverse engineering these games to figure out some of the quirkier things about them. One of the things was the stone tablet of life energy that I mentioned was below here. It turns out, the reason it's there is because they never gave the proper coordinates for it to show up. I'm trying to remember what he said. I think he said that the coordinates that was based on the coordinates that were applied to it, it should have been out here somewhere, sort of near the collapsed tower. Right there. Somewhere out there, probably amongst the orcs. But probably there's something like a bad code that just invalidated the coordinates, so it went to a neutral position, which we can actually get to by just doing go to POS, and that seems to teleport you to a neutral position in the current map. So you notice that puts us right where that stone tablet was, which is interesting. The other thing is that we mentioned a couple episodes ago this one chest over here that will never open. And this is sort of a similar thing. I believe what he said happened is that they never assigned it a lock combination.
That's all just gossip.
So that is why it says it will never open, because its state is locked, but they never gave it a key or a combination. So that's sort of like a fault state. In the event that happens, it just will not open. It's the same thing with the back entrance to Orland's Tavern. There's a door there that will never open as well. And one of the chests behind Mateo's shop in Corinus also used to have that in the vanilla game, but they actually removed the combination entirely. And that's how we acquired all these citizen clothes that are not normally acquirable in the game. And actually, Vanna, if you're watching this now, I'm curious if you can reverse engineer the vanilla game and see if that those items are still in there. You might have even done it before. I honestly don't remember. But regardless, that's the only reason I think, because we get multiple copies of these citizen clothes, I don't feel like they were actually meant to be acquired in the game until they just remove the lock script from that chest. Because normally you wouldn't be able to get those. But, excuse me, anyway, we have done our duty. Now we report to this fat ass in his chair.
I talked to Fayeth.
What have you
Fayeth?
got to tell me?
You mean
His people have
Fageth?
mined 2 chests of ore.
Can't rely on that.
2 chests? I don't need 2 chests. I need 200!
He wants me to tell you that he needs more men.
Say that myself.
What? I'm supposed to send even more men to certain death? He can forget it.
Well, geez. I guess you don't want the ore after all. Either Fageth doesn't mine as much as Marco, so you don't think he's worth it, or you just have preferential treatment
Time for things like that.
for that suicidal paladin Marcos.
About Silvestro's mining site.
Did you go see him? Did you talk to him?
Long, rocky.
Everyone's dead there. They were surprised by mine crawlers.
What about the ore? Do you know how much they've mined?
They managed to secure a few chests first. They're in a cave, along the path from the castle to the mining site.
Damn!
It was his decision. Wasn't
Those were a lot of good men. May Innos have mercy on their souls. Damn! What's going on out there? Has Beliar himself come to wipe us out? My men are almost all dead, and with the bit of ore we have, we can't even stop one orc, let alone an army! This expedition is doomed to failure.
Nothing's going to change about that.
What about the letter for Lord Hagen?
We have 10 crates of ore on the whole, and we've lost twice as many good men. You shall have your letter. Lord Hagen must hear of this. This valley is cursed. Evil abides here.
But he ever asks me.
Good thing that Evil did not think to act in the time that you had me running around for this bullshit. Could have had reinforcements here days ago, probably.
What are you planning to do now?
I've tried everything. You're my only hope now.
Nothing's
You
going to change
and that
about
Lord Hagen will send me reinforcements. We'll continue to stand firm and pray to Innos that he won't leave us despondent in this dark hour.
You already sound very despondent.
I want to buy Gorn's freedom.
Agreed. You can go to Gerald and tell him to release Gorn on my orders.
I used to say that myself.
So, we get Gorn's freedom at a fine cost of 200 gold to ourselves, thanks to all of the other means we got of accumulating his bail fund from other sympathetic parties.
Set Gorn free. That's an order from Commander Garond.
I've already been informed. Here's the key. You can go in.
It can't go on like this
Huh.
forever.
Seems like we could do a lot of damage in there on our own. Surprised that you don't have people release him on your orders. So all that's in here, there are 4 cells, some random convicts
gonna die here.
who have nothing worthwhile to say. Surprised they have you just chilling in here rather than working. In fact, you're probably a lot safer in here from the dragons than you are outside. But Gorn, who we're looking for, is in the last cell on the right here.
Enough of this lounging about. You're free.
It's about time somebody got me out of here. I certainly hadn't expected it to be you, though. It's damn good to see you.
Garond says you eat too much and he can no longer afford to feed you.
Now that you mention it, I could kill a couple of beers. Let's get out of here. I've seen enough of this cell.
Okay, see you with Milton.
Sure thing.
I don't like to kill beers, I like to drink them. Now, if you are a mercenary, Gorn actually gives you the medium mercenary armor when you meet him in there. That is why, as a mercenary, I don't like to buy it before I come here. Because I don't think it provides enough more defense over the Ring of Water armor. I believe its stats are almost identical. You can just bump it another 10 by getting the mercenary belt. But, since we don't really do a whole lot of dangerous combat here, I don't think that extra defense is worth paying for early when we can get it for free here. And very quickly when we get back, we actually can get a whole new set of armor anyway. So ultimately, I'm just a cheapskate, I guess. So we'll let Gorn make it here, but chat with Milton in the meantime.
I've freed Gorn.
Good. Then we should think about what happens next.
What are your plans?
I shall return. I will wait for a while, but now that Gorn is free, I can leave with him. It is more than necessary that Pyrocar learns of the situation here.
If you think so.
I hope that Lord Hagen will recognize the threat that emanates from this valley. Not to think of what will happen if the orcs come over the pass.
Well then, have a safe trip.
I don't know, Pyrocar barely seemed interested in what's going on here to begin with.
Listen, I've loafed around here long enough. It's time I saw something other than this valley. How did you get over the pass?
There's a path through the abandoned mine.
Good. I'll wait for the right moment and then I'm out of here.
Where will you go then?
I heard that Lee is still alive. I want to join up with him again.
We'll meet again.
You can count on it.
Well, good luck. All these impediments to your personal freedom, hopefully, are no more. As long as you can get out of here safely. Now, last thing we got to do here is...
Hey!
Drop this 10 Grand's ring off.
Here, I bring you 10 Grand's ring. It's supposed to protect you. 10 Grand says he'll come and get it once he's back.
What? Do you know what ring that is? He got that ring as an award for his courage in battle. You say he wants to get it back? If it's the will of Innos, he is going to. If it's the will of Innos.
Oh, indeed. Something tells me the will of Innos is not strong enough to sustain him. But no foreshadowing. So, all that's left to do here, really, before we leave, is just rob the place blind. Now, as a Fuego mage, we can do this pretty much freely. Nobody accosts us for being in strange places. But, if you try to do this as a militiaman, I don't think you actually have trouble as a militia. You definitely are not allowed to be in any of these areas as a mercenary. So you have to make sure you are sneaky beaky. The most important thing is that there is a door key here. I believe that is to one of the doors in the hall that Garond is in, parking his ass in Gomez's chair. There's another key over there that we need as well. Actually, is this for one of the doors downstairs? No. I think... yeah, this storehouse back here, the key is actually in the possession
I'll never get this
of the nameless paladin standing out front. And the only way to get it is to steal it or to knock him down and take it. And obviously knocking him down invites a lot of trouble, which actually, as a sort of lower ranking fire mage, it seems like nobody bothers us if we start picking fights around here. They all draw their weapons and kind of watch, but they don't seem to actually do anything. I haven't actually successfully knocked anyone down when I tried. They mostly just stand and watch, and if you knock someone down, they might actually attack you as a result. But we have learned that when you are a higher ranking mage, it seems that all the paladins take your side when you start shit here, to very hilarious effect. But rather than show the clip of that happening, I think I'll wait and demonstrate that later on. Right, left, left, right, left, 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 right. Right, left, 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 right, left. Now, I think it is about time I try and configure OBS as my new recording software, because I'm seeing a lot of issues recording Gothic 3 with this game, where it's actually recording at half the frame rate it's playing at. So I understand a lot of the performance gripes that people have with this game while I'm playing is actually in the recording, not reflective of how it's playing for me. And I never really paid that much attention to it before, which is very annoying. Left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Holy shit. Left, right, left, right, left, left. Not worth it. It would actually be very annoying if this software that I paid something like $35 for, admittedly it was a one-time license, I get it forever, but it would be very annoying if it turns out that a free open source software works so significantly better. My problem is that setting up OBS for local recordings used to be kind of annoying, because then you'd have to change the settings back for live streaming. But now they have independent profiles for it. Right, left, left, right, left, 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 right, left, 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 left. So admittedly, my reservations about setting up OBS has mostly been out of laziness. I beg your pardon. They did not have silicon implants in this day and age. Right, 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 right. All right. So there's one more locked door here.
I'll never get this open without the right key.
The key is in one of these other rooms, actually. Remember this room, it looked quite different. Had very different occupants back in the day. It's a shame they seem to have vanished entirely. Right, 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 left, right, right, left, right, left, right. Right, right, left, right, left, right, left. On that subject, it's kind of a shame that they not only never really developed the handful of female characters in Gothic 1 to anything meaningful. They were just kind of window dressing, I guess. But they never appeared in the sequel either. Not a single one of them. Their models were reused for assorted characters, albeit in a more appropriate state of dress. But they were never showed up as their original characters. None of the ones that served Gomez, nor the ones that fanned Iberian. Right, left, left. Son of a bitch, that's all my lockpicks. God damn it. Let's go buy some more. But there actually was a mod for Gothic 2 that tried to fill in some of the blanks by resurrecting the character of Valea, who I believe was the one that we saw going down the lift in the intro of Gothic 1, and was Gomez's personal concubine at the time. She was the one taking a bath up in his chambers for pretty much the entire game.
Hey, you!
So the mod decided to make her a protagonist, which was an interesting effort, and admittedly one of the better Gothic 2 story-based mods, but it was a lot of silliness, a lot of the usual fan fiction tropes. It had some interesting scripting that we never saw in the base game, or in really too many other mods either. So I do say it's one of the better mods that are out there, and I in fact did a series for it way back in the day. Don't recommend watching it, because I don't really recommend watching any of my old videos. But it's there if you insist. Right, left, left. Right, left, left, right. Right, left, left, right, left. Okay, so the door key for the final door was on that table there. Let's take a trip over here. And within, we have this note here. This is a very, very useful note. I'm going to save before I read it because I actually don't want to read it. Because there's something interesting that can happen later if we do not. It is a note titled Bloodfly's Venom. If you read it, you get a little XP, but it also tells you how you can basically use the venom in a bloodfly stinger to actually become a healing potion. Essentially, it seems that the bloodfly stinger actually has... Well, it depends on the way, I guess, you... how you say, access the venom. It seems to have healing properties instead of poisonous properties. If you don't have that knowledge, which I'm going to reload to make sure I don't, eating a bloodfly stinger actually deals 1 point of damage. Tastes bitter and poisonous. But I forget how much it actually heals you if you have that knowledge. Right, left, left, right, 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 left. But like the note says, you eat too many bloodfly stingers and eventually they just don't work anymore. But they are a very potent healing effect until that point. We actually do need to know how to access the secretion for a quest later on. But it is for that reason that I don't want to learn how to do it right now. And notice something... Well, you'll notice that something blocks our path once we loot this chest, so... left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, right. Pop. A gold necklace, ring of ore skin, and a lower skeleton. It just shows up. For no good reason. It seems that Gomez left a curse on this chest before he met his untimely end. On that note, you might recall that there used to be some ladders leading up further into this tower previously. Those ladders are now gone, and there's nothing up there of note. If you use cheats to get up there, all you'll notice is that the environment gets a little glitchy. You can actually... everything eventually just kind of becomes transparent. Looks like you're floating, because you are not meant to be able to get around up there. Anyway, that wraps up everything we gotta do here, I believe. Yeah. So, it is time to hit the road. Diego hasn't quite made it across yet, but that's no big deal.
Hey! How's it going?
Fine. I'm just taking a brief rest.
Alright, well, don't hang around too long. This isn't the safest place. But anyway, time to get back with news. The Eye of Innos. So the interesting thing about that splash screen is that it actually... Excuse me. That splash screen actually changes what your character is wearing depending on which faction you join, but for some reason it kind of selects a random weapon for you. Now, it's best to be prepared before you leave, because this place is no longer as safe as we left it. Some very interesting changes have occurred, and everywhere you used to think was safe, it's not quite so much anymore. And for that reason, I actually should have said it before, if you have anything you want to do here before advancing to Chapter 3, do not talk to Garond about the mining sites until you've taken care of what you need to. Because running around in the wilderness is a bit of a dangerous game. In fact, even the roads between locations are not quite as forgiving as they used to be. There's something I want to try here. Someone suggested I do this. Oh no, I can't use it. Alright, guess we're not doing that today. But, you'll notice an interesting character has shown up here. He is one tough customer, so I suggest you make some preparations, including a skeleton spell.
You chose the path of magic to conquer us. A clever move, but even that will do you no good.
What a spooky dude. Now he actually... Oh god. Just went straight into it. Oh god, I still have God mode on. Uh-oh. Oh. I have made many errors. I apologize for that. I forgot I still had God mode on from when I was demonstrating the little teleport to the 0 coordinates in the castle. That was my mistake. And then when I was trying to scramble to turn it off, I accidentally hit F3, which tries to force the game into windowed mode, and it does not like that. So, get Skelemon back on. Might even summon him before we hit up the Seeker.
Even as a magician, you cannot stop us.
Stop us. So our Ice Lances are kind of a paltry effect here. He does as much damage with his fireballs. No, do not! Oh my god. No. Mistakes. Okay, we survived. Jesus Christ. I am having issues with inputs today.
Nothing there.
So these Seekers have a variety of spells. Some of which are actually unique versions of spells. It looked like a normal fireball he had, but the Seeker version of the fireball is actually quite a bit deadlier. They also have spells in the form of, obviously, Storm, as he just used. They can use Fire Rain, I think, later on, and Small Firestorm, or at least a certain version of it. Their unique spells are not able to be acquired by any normal means in the game. There are some exploits that you can use to get them, though, which I may demonstrate later on, just for completion's sake. But I must caveat that with the advice that you never do it, because everyone knows if you use cheats, you play like a little bitch. Anyway, we see that this place is not so friendly anymore. Well, Lester's here to greet us.
Hey, you're finally back. You have to go see Zardes right away. There's a problem.
That I certainly believe.
All hell's broken loose since you left. Talk to Zardes. He's waiting for you. Zardes gave me this rune for you. It'll help you get to him faster. We'll meet again there.
Will we? Well, I guess let's hit the frickin' road then. You can see some nasty beasts have moved in. More than just the Seekers are concerned here. We also got much more dangerous creatures crowding the place. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is where we'll stop for today. We'll hit up Zardes first thing next time. Obviously, things were not quiet in our absence, so we have to figure out what the hell's going on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch, subscribe to my stream archive channel, links in the description below, as well as a link to my Twitter and Discord servers if you want to get involved in some chit-chat nonsense. Otherwise, have yourself a wonderful week. Don't forget to wash your hands, stay safe, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time. So long.